Congratulations on being the Team USA 2011 group. That's quite an accomplishment in itself. So hopefully you'll learn some things this weekend that that are new to you. I know you're going to have a lot of people with a lot of experience trying to help you. So if you can be a sponge, this is a good time to be one. Are you the only two ladies in the program this year? Yeah? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What they've asked me to talk about tonight is Basic Polo 101. Last year's group, for some reason I watched them play, and a lot of them came out of the indoor game, and we had a practice game, and they didn't have a clue what was going on. So I said to Chris, I said, you know, I think it would be good if there was a discussion about just basic polo and how to play the game at a basic level. Now I know I'm going to say some things here tonight, and there are variations to everything, and I don't want to get too far off into variations. Be glad to answer any questions that are, you know, kind of on the same track. But please remember, this is the basics. If you don't know the basics, then I've always felt you cannot build on deviating from the basics. If we were a team and in the tent before I said, okay, we're just going to play basic polo, you would know what I meant, you know. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. Any questions, please don't be shy. Please, you know, let's discuss. This is not a one-way lecture, okay? I'm going to start off by going through how the game is started, and that's a throw-in. Can you see this board? Yes. Yeah. The most important person in a throw-in is the number one. Always remember, the number one is the engine that pulls the train. Last year, and even today, you can go watch a medium goal game or some high goal games where the ones turn back into the play and get in the muddle. They hit the ball out and there's nobody there. I always try to associate it, only because people are probably more familiar with football than they are polo. But the one is a wide receiver. He's got to be there to receive the pass. So, that is what the ones want to accomplish. They want to get anywhere from 15 to 20 yards outside of the throw-in. Now, obviously, if you can bring the ball with you, that's the optimum. That happens very rarely. You know, you're right on top. Hey, Adam. You're right on top of the umpire. He bowls it in, and probably 99% of the time it goes past the one, okay? Obviously, you want to take a swing at the ball, and the best play is that, let's say the blue number one, when he's going this way, if he can take the red number one with him, now you've eliminated their engine. Make sense? Now the red player is going to try and do the same thing. He's going to try and face you towards his goal, which then eliminates the threat of you scoring a goal out of the throw-in. So it's a battle. But the thing you want to do is, if you're losing the battle, is to check up and get to your position, okay? So important. Those number ones have got to get out of there and leave the ball basically to the twos and threes. I always played it where the twos and the threes, that was your man. And if I didn't get the ball, I wanted to be sure my opposing number, whatever position, whether I was playing 2 or 3, didn't get the ball. Okay? Sometimes not getting the ball is a good play, because you don't want them to break out a quick breakaway. I always like my back at an off of the throw-in instead of being right behind everybody. You can't see anything. You've got 6 people in front of you. I always liked whoever is playing 4, it may be the 3 who is there. Okay, so all I'm doing is, regardless, whoever is the last guy out, I like to put him off to the side. If the throw-in were coming here, I'm here. I can see that ball travel. If it stops and it's going to go this way, I immediately go to the opposing number 1 or the first player that has gotten out of the throw-in. So that makes sense? Okay. The throw-in is, too many people, I feel, use it as an offensive play instead of a neutral play. You don't want them to get the ball. You want to get the ball. If they do get the ball, you want to be marked up where the 2 has the 2, the 3 has the 3, the 4, once he's lost sight of that ball. Now let me go back a second. Let's say it comes through, all right? If it comes through quickly enough, then the 4's obligation is to play the ball and to forget the number 1. The minute the number 4 loses sight of the ball, he should be thinking about cutting off the number 1. Make sense? Pretty easy. Polo is a really easy game if you play, you know, using basic strategy. It's when you can make it complicated. But the basic polo is pretty simple. Any questions on the throw-in? Any comments? Anybody got any ideas? Red, what about this? Red, what about that? No?
What do you think about, you see people facing the opposite way now?
Usually that is the highest rated player on the team. The con against this is if the number 1 gets the ball or they get the ball to the number 1, this guy should have an easy ride to gold, because the back, or the number 4, has his back to him and is facing the opposite way. These players, whether it's a cambiaso or a high goal player who can react quick enough, it takes a lot of reaction time to be able to do this. This is something that you will grow into. Okay? If you have a very strong number 1 opposing you, I don't like doing that, because the odds are that he's going to come out of there with the ball, and I'm not going to be able to, if I'm facing that way and the red number 1 comes out, I'm not going to be able to turn quick enough to probably make a play on him. Now, if I've got a weak opposing number 1, then I'm more apt to do it. And in that case, then the 2s eliminate each other, and the 3s eliminate, and the 2 4s kind of become rovers. All right? And again, you'll see a lot of them, they'll see the ball, and let's say it goes that way, they will automatically turn and go back. So it's something that to me, that is not basic polo. That is not the way you should learn how to play it. That is the way that you should develop into, if the circumstances are right, something that your team may do. Another thing to think about is, and very few people do, when the game starts, the person that is throwing in, all umpires throw in differently. If you have a very strong umpire who throws the ball in like he's Roger Clemens, odds are it is going to come through a lot. Then this is a very good tactic. How I started out with the 4 out here facing that way where he can see all it is also a good tactic, because boom, he turns and he's right on the line. So evaluate from the first throw in, when you're riding back between the first and the second. Hey, this guy is firing that ball in. You know, we need to be more balls are coming through than are getting caught up in front of the number 4. Those are things to observe, and then have a game plan based on that, okay? If somebody is just barely, you know, it doesn't barely get past the 2, then, you know, this may not be the way to do it. The way to do it might be is to get the 4 closer instead of behind the 3 and off to the side, would be to put him here between the 2 and the 3, where he's closer, if that ball's getting caught up in here, okay? But those are all observations that as you're playing the game you should be making, and you should be discussing with your teammates, okay? Now, the next play I would like to discuss, and for discussion purpose only, whoever knocks in or hits a penalty shot, in my opinion, is considered the back, regardless of the number on his back. It could be the number 1. He is the farthest guy from there. So as I refer to this, I'm going to refer to it as number 4, okay, regardless of the number on his back. Okay, basic Polo 101 is basically a triangle, or excuse me, a diamond shape. Okay? Now I'm not going to put the other team in here yet. I'm just going to talk about the team knocking in. At no other time in a game are you farther away from your goal than when you knock in. You are 300 yards away from your goal. So knock-ins should be, in my opinion, a more defensive play than an offensive play, because we have to be lucky enough to advance that ball 300 yards, the farthest we can ever go in a game from our goal. What I always tried to do is, if I could possess the ball to midfield before I lost it, then I felt I'd put myself in kind of a neutral position. The other team has got to turn it, they've got to hit it 2 times before they get a shot at goal. During those 2 times, hopefully my team can intercept the ball and go from defense to offense. Probably if I could get you to think about one thing only that I talk about tonight, is I consider polo a right-sided game. I'm going to deviate from this. This is me here, and I have the ball, okay? If I decide to go this way with the ball, I have opened myself up to an opponent who has multiple options of taking this ball away from me and turning his team from a defensive maneuver to offense. He can hit a near side back shot. He can hook me. He can ride me off and take a back shot. He has many more options than I would like to give him. So if I have the ball and I'm going down the field, and this is wherever I am, and most of the time when you're going down the field, your opponents are going to be to your left. So if I have the ball and I take the ball this way and the other 4 players are on my left, there is only one way that he can gain control of that ball to take his team from a defensive play and turn it to offense. And that is to bump me, ride me over the ball, and hit a near side back shot. He can't hook me. He can't swing at the ball if he comes in. Now this is provided I haven't hit the ball too far. I've got control of the ball and it's my ball. So with that in mind is how, in my way of thinking, polo is a right. I want the ball to my right. I want to eliminate my opponents from being able to gain possession of that ball except one way, and that's to ride me off and hit a near side back shot. Does everybody understand that concept? It's not to say that you're not going to go left at times, but when you have the choice, you are going to have a higher percentage of carrying this ball to where you can get a shot at goal if you're protecting the ball on the right and everybody else is on your left. You visualize that? Did I explain it where you could see that? Yes? Okay. So, to me, in Basic Polo 101, that should be the deciding factor of where the ball is going to go, and I'm just throwing in 80% of the time, let's say. So with that in mind, what I'm going to try and do is obviously put this ball somewhere there. Okay? I don't care what these 3 guys do. The 2 can go that way, the 3 can go that way, and then this way, whatever. But I want my teammates to know that I'm going to try and drop the ball. I'm off center there. Let me back up. Okay, this is, let's say this is the 30-yard line, and let's say this is the 80 and 150. I am going to try and drop that ball somewhere between the 30 and the 80, where if my teammates position themselves correctly, their opponent will be on their left side. They will establish themselves on the line. If they have to check, because this guy has an angle on him, he still is going to remain having possession of the ball. Does everybody see that? Okay. So, when you're doing your pre-game discussion, now I know tomorrow are they all going to play on the same team for their 6 chuckers?
They're going to play 4 chuckers tomorrow. And
okay.
They do know that they will know their teams.
They will know their team. Yeah. So if they talk before the game, yeah, for 4 chuckers, yeah, they can decide. Okay. Right. Now there are lots of variations of who is going to end up in this spot, and that's normally, in a perfect world, the number 2 goes there, the number 1 goes there, and the number 3 is kind of splitting the middle. If I hit it short, it's for the 2. If I hit it long, hopefully it's for the number 1. But we have the ball in front of us, and all 4 of us are going in the direction of the ball. Okay? Now, there will be some circumstances, especially after the first couple of chuckers, when the opponents are saying, man, they're hitting the ball every time to the right. Obviously, you need to be able to counterattack that. You can't do the same thing throughout the whole game. So once you get them overreacting, and that is interpreted by the other 3 players going to the man who's knocking in and saying, whatever your cue word is, opposite way or red or green or blue or whatever, we all start this way knowing that the ball's going there. okay? And normally, this number 3 will take off here and then break at speed. This guy, one shot, boom, hit the ball, and we've got all the opponents drifting that way, we break away. That makes them honest. That makes your opposition honest. Hopefully, you've caught them to where we make a play where we can go down and have a free shot at goal. Okay? So that is just something, you know, a variation of the play where you're going to try to attempt to protect the ball and hit it to the right. So if you hit it to me and the ball's on my right and my opponents are on my left, I can protect that ball. It's my ball. They can't get it. Then boom, I try to hit it to my next player and so forth down the field. Okay? Anybody have questions about that? Now, we're going to be the blue team and we're going to defend this knock-in. So, for discussion purposes, I'm going to call the man guarding the man knocking in the number 1. Okay. One thing I should have said about a throw-in, but I didn't. I'll say it now. In a perfect world, when the ball is bowled in or knocked in or whatever, if everybody took their man off the field, the ball would not move once it was released from the number 4. You just sit there. So if you can envision, what does taking my man mean? Taking your man means he cannot hit the ball. And I can't stress that enough, especially at your age, how important that thought is. Take this man. Well, what does that mean? I'll brush him and then I'll go chase the ball. No. He is your man. Theoretically, if everybody took their man and the ball was knocked in or thrown in or however it started, it would sit there for 7 minutes. Obviously, that's not going to happen because people can get away. But if you have that thought, that vision of taking your man, I always tried to emphasize with my teammates that, okay, whoever your man is on the knock-in, he's yours. If my man gets away from me and hits the ball, it's my fault. If your man gets away from you and hits the ball, it's your fault, okay? So you have to strive to overemphasize, especially on dead ball shots. Really concentrate on taking that man, okay? So again, with that in mind, it doesn't matter where the ball goes or what position you are, as long as you are attempting to isolate your man. All you have to do is 25% of the work on this field for the team to add up to 100%. All you got to do is your 25%. You don't have to do more. Now, where that varies is if I'm 4 goals and somebody's 0 goals. Obviously, my 25% is more because of my handicap than theirs. But still, with that in mind, if I can get my 0-goal player to accomplish taking the man, that's huge. That's huge, okay? Any questions on the knock-in, either defending it or knocking it in? Now, the same philosophy or whatever holds true to a shot from the spot or the center of the field. It's all just basics, if you'll do the basics, okay? Now, I'd like to talk about The team that is attacking is on offense. The team that does not have control of the ball and is trying to obtain control is on defense, okay? Once we are in a position to change from defense to offense, what is the best way? Let me restate. Where is the best way? Once we have control of the man and or the ball, what are we going to do to the ball to turn our defensive position into an offensive position? Again, just for discussion's purposes, I'm going to say the back is the one that's going to turn the ball. If I cut the ball away or hit a near side tail shot, I've directed the ball to my right if I'm facing that way. In order for my teammate to get on the line, at some point he's got to cross that line to get on the line in order to establish possession. Anybody on the defense who can anticipate that and come and get on the line has now eliminated my player or players from gaining possession of that ball. Do you all see that? If I cut the ball away, all right, my players at some point have got to cross the line to get on the offside. Any opposing player can maneuver in such a way as to meet the ball, and now my players have all fouled. Everybody see that?
Don't you have to be 100% on the line now, though?
Yeah, but still, I'm going to intimidate you. If you're turning in front of me and I'm 80% on that line and I'm coming, you got to be pretty damn brave to think about it. I have more control than you do.
Yeah.
I have more. The other thing, if you do continue, I can hook you.
Yeah.
You know, I have plays that I can make to not allow you to go from defense to offense.
All right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, because before it was lesser angle. Now
Before it was lesser angle. Now they say you've got to be 100% on the line. So just while we're at this point, if you are going to make this away shot on the offside or a tail shot on the near side, is to apply more angle. Okay? Now, it's almost impossible for your opponent to establish himself on the line of the ball. Do you see that? By more angle, lesser angle, all he's got to do is that. More angle, you kind of eliminated that play. All he can do possibly is come in behind you and try to hook, which in that case, he runs the risk of fouling the second player coming down the line. So if you are going to, somebody says away and he's not wide open, you want to put more angle than just, you know, putting less of an angle on it. Do you see why? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now, if my 4 is going to back the ball, and I tell him tail on the offside, or same shot would be away on the near side, okay? But I see him going to the ball on the offside, I yell tail. Okay. For me to establish myself on that line, I've not had to cross it. All I've had to do is turn on the line, and now I have sole possession of that line. There is no way for an opponent to get on that line without crossing it. Now, if he's hit it 90 yards and I'm 20 yards, yes, all those things. But I'm talking about, you know, when the ball is back 30 yards and I turn on it, again, there is no way for my opposition to gain control of that ball other than riding me over the line and hitting a near side back. I've given my opponent one option, and he has got to be positioned perfectly in order to execute that. If not, I've maintained possession of the ball, and that's what I want to do. I want my team to have possession of the ball all the time. Doesn't happen, but the more times you have possession of the ball, the more likelihood you are to be victorious. Possession's the name of the game. If we're hitting it to them every time and they're making these basic good plays, we've got a long afternoon ahead of us, okay? So you want to keep possession of the ball. So by hitting a offside tail shot or a near side away shot, I turn on the ball. Theoretically, I'm the only one that can advance the ball, okay? So if you're following somebody, and especially if there is nobody on you, if there is somebody on your right, that's okay too. If you say tail it, again assuming the man backing is on the offside, you know that you turn to the left and you are on the line. It's your ball, your line, your possession. Everything is yours. No questions asked, okay? So tomorrow, from now on, you've got to be reading this play that's about to happen, that you are then visualized that you are going to get the ball. You have turned a defensive play into offense, and you still have possession of the ball. So that is the proper call to make. Now, when is it not the proper time to make that call? Okay, I don't know if you all can see that. I'm the blue player. My back is also blue. He's going to back the ball. If he tails it, then my opponent, my number 2, can do the same thing that I was wanting to do, what I just described to you. He turns on the line of the ball. It is his line. Now, we've changed the direction of the ball, but we have not changed possession really of the ball, because our opponents are going to get it back, okay? You have to talk to your teammates. It's much easier for you to see what's going on, that I'm riding, a guy's trying to ride me over the ball, I'm trying to back the ball. I'm going to tail it, but maybe that's not the right play. But I'm going to do that play because I didn't hear anybody say away, okay? So you have to communicate, regardless of your handicap. If you're on that team, if you're on your team, you have to communicate with your teammates. It's the only way that I know, basically, unless I'm all by myself, that the tail shot is not the shot of choice. The away shot is. Now, again, if I hit the away shot with very little angle, okay, I've got to cross the line. A red player can establish himself pretty easy on the line, and I'm in no man's land. Again, we've changed the direction, but we still don't have possession. So in a way, if I put more angle on it, okay, I cross the line to get on it, this player is going to have a hard time getting over here and getting directly on the line before I can cross it and continue down the line, okay? Everybody see that? So, my way of thinking is in basic Polo 101, the man backing the ball, or woman, should always tail the ball on the offside and hit a near side away shot. On the near side, hit an away shot. For those reasons, unless told otherwise. Okay? Or if there's an obvious play. I mean, you and I are playing and we look at each other and you go that way, well, you don't have to say anything. We've talked with our eyes. But I'm talking about when we're all strung out, I'm going to back the ball, there's somebody on top of me trying to ride me off it. I'm going to make the basic play unless told otherwise. All right? Anybody have anything in particular that they would like me to discuss with you all? No? Yes?
I guess it's not basic, but what about set plays? That's something I've never won.
Set plays?
Yeah. Have you ever done anything like that?
Yeah, to me, set plays are all basic polo 101. I'm knocking in. Okay, let's start with a throw in. Guys, we're going to play orthodox basic polo. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 4s are going to be out. To me, that's basic. Knock-ins, the ball is going to go to the right, depending on who's knocking in, whether he hits a short ball to the 30 because his 2 has faked going deep, come back, and he's wide open. I lay it off to him. He will now become the 4, and I go beyond him, and he hits the ball up. If he's covered or does not do that, and everybody breaks, then I'm going to try and aim for the 80-yard line, giving my team the best chance, knowing that that's where the ball's going, to gain possession of it. And again, the ball will be on their right-hand side. If we lose possession of the ball, if we lose, there's the 80-yard line. All right, I've hit it, and this defender has come in and is going to change the direction of the ball. He doesn't have possession, but he's going to change the direction of the ball. He's got to come, let's say the 1 is gone there. Let's say the 2, the 3, and the 4. He still has to come through 3 of us to get a shot at that goal. And I've put him in such a position that I don't even know if he can do it 1 out of 100 times. 1 out of 1,000 times can he back that ball from the boards and score a goal. Okay? Conversely, if I knock in right up the middle of the field and we lose possession of it, he's got a much greater chance of backing that ball straight back than he does of making some spectacular shot on the boards, right? So even though we've lost possession of it, we haven't lost the battle, we're still fighting. They have to make a pass to a teammate. That player probably 9 times out of 10 has got to hit it 1 time coming this way. So 3 shots. The back shot, the setup shot is 2, and the shot at goal is 3. They've had to hit that ball 3 times on average in order to attempt to score a goal. If I leave the ball anywhere in there, on average, we're talking maybe 1 shot. So which would you, if you're going to give me, you're going to lose control of the ball and you're going to give it to me, where would you rather give it to me at? Where I have the least chance of scoring a goal. Polo is all about percentages. Whether it's, you know, what percentage do you have of riding this guy off? What percentage do you have? The team that plays the game with the lowest amount of percentage, I'm talking about 2 equally matched teams. If they're knocking in down the middle all the time and I'm knocking in on the boards, and let's say everyone who knocks in, both our team and the other, lose it. Well, because that ball is somewhere in the middle of the field, I have a higher, if my team is not the one knocking in, I have a higher percentage of making a goal, shooting a goal and making it, than if the ball is left on the boards. Okay?
Still go right if the ball is on the opposite side of the goal?
Yes. That's a good point.
You talk about if you get it past like 30 to 50 yards on the left.
What to do. Very good. Okay, now we're on the left side of the goalpost. Basic Polo 101 still dictates that this is a right-sided game, okay? But we've done it 3 or 4 times and they're cheating. As I'm making my turn to hit the ball, we're breaking to the right. They are just all flooding that zone, okay? It reduces my odds of my team maintaining possession of the ball. So again, we've had a word that the whole team knows, and as my number 3 goes by me, he says Pelican. Well, that means to me we're going the opposite way. All right, so we've called Pelican. All right, everybody takes us, as we have done the last 4 knock-ins, to the right, except my number 2, who starts here, and my 3, who's here, and my 1 is there. Again, the diamond. Everybody is going like we're going to the right, just like we've done the previous 4 or 5 knock-ins. Okay, the blue team is smoking. All right, all of a sudden, unbeknownst to anybody, the number 2 checks and goes back to the left. He is now open because his opponent has not reacted as quick, not knowing that that's what he was going to do. So I have 1 shot to get that ball to my number 2, all right? So I'm successful. I've hit a good shot. And my number 2 is on the line. We have possession of the ball. We are on offense. Now, my opponents have recovered.
Okay, everybody. Let me tell you what's going on here tonight.
My opponents have recovered,
$20.
and I'm probably going to get 1 shot before anybody can get to me. Okay? Now, if I hit the ball
Now, you don't want to get on the ball.
down the field,
$50, you can buy immunity.
I'm back to the age-old thing, is how can I lose this ball?
Step on up.
How can I lose this ball? I can lose it by an opponent hitting a near side back shot. I can lose it by him hooking me, or I can lose it by him riding me off and taking the ball. 3 options, okay? I don't want to give him 3 options. That's too many. That's too many. I want to go back to the theory that this is a right-sided game. We've kept possession of the ball. Now, where do we get it so that we can continue? Same old story. I'm just repeating myself. So from here, maybe I tap it to, you know, I'm going this way, my moment. Maybe I tap it short that way, turn, all right? My number 1, my number 3, and the 4 is probably still following the ball, just in case he misses it or whatever. But I don't even have to look. I don't even have to think, because I know in basic polo, once I straighten that ball out, I can look down the field and I'm going to the right. So we've got all the boot players there, and I lay the ball right here. Now all these boot players are on my left, right where I want them. Okay? I've gained possession, I've maintained possession, and I may only have 1 shot because this guy, I haven't completely, you know, fooled him. His name might be Adam Snow or Cambiaso or something like that. But I've got 1 more shot to advance the ball down the field before this guy is going to gain possession and take me out. But at least I've advanced the ball another X amount of yards, okay? Farther away for them to shoot a goal. I want to keep them as far away from here as I can most of the time, okay? So does that make sense? And that was a good question. Did you bring that up, or who brought that up? Ty did? That was a good question. So even though we do go left, or even though we cut the ball away, we've cut the ball away, my team has dropped on. If I hit it here, again, I've opened myself up to those scenarios where they have multiple opportunities to take the ball away from me, okay? So if I cut the ball away, it's the same thing as this play. I want to gain possession of it, and then I want to go back to the right, okay? If you can learn, if you can visualize and comprehend that, to me, that is the most important thing that you can try to implement this week and then for the rest of your polo career. Because it's so simple, right? It just makes sense. I want to maintain possession of the ball. If I'm going to the left all the time, I got to be a really good player, and I got to have great horses, and you know, the odds are not in my favor, and I would rather play with the odds more in my favor than in my opposing team's favor, okay? While I was doing this, I thought of something else. I can't remember. Anybody else? It was a good question. Anybody else have any? No? Okay. Well, I'd like to spend, Adam, give me about 5 more minutes. And
Are you gonna work on the board a little bit yet?
I can.
I was just gonna ask if you could square it up a little bit. So
Oh, sorry, I kicked. No, I wasn't going to. Okay. One thing I noticed with the first year's team was also, in addition to maybe not knowing the basics of polo, was the proper grip on the mallet. If I can, I don't know if I can get up here without falling down. I haven't had a beer yet. Some of you, I'm sure, play tennis, play golf, play other sports that you use something in your hand, okay? If you have a closed grip, this is what I refer to as a closed grip, where your thumb is outside your index finger. When I go to hit the ball, the heel of the mallet is going to hit the dirt, okay? So I've got the tendency always to close the mallet, okay? If I extend this mallet where it almost becomes an extension of my arm, okay? And by doing that, all I've done, I don't know if any of you have shot pistols or whatnot, if I have a pistol grip or a tennis grip or a golf grip, if I will move this finger out, and now my thumb is resting against my middle finger, the mallet then lays flat on the ground. Okay? Does everybody see that? Does everybody do this, or has everybody got a pretty good grip? Have you been taught properly how to, you know, how to grip the mallet? Okay? All right. Now, the second thing, and especially you ladies, beginning players, I see too many beginning players, when they attempt to hit the ball, that they bend at the waist forward. In other words, this is my horse, okay? They bend at the waist like this, all right? Which allows them to start their mallet somewhere at this height, okay? Because I can't, if I'm bent forward, I can't really get the mallet very high. All right. So what happens is the only, and I'm not a mathematician, but I do remember from school. What's the formula? I've forgotten. Velocity times mass equals distance. Is that right? Is anybody a math major? Okay, let's assume it's right. I know I'm close. All right. So the only velocity I can get in this head, the ball is at my feet, is from here to here. All right. So that's the velocity. This is the mass. So velocity times mass is going to equal distance. I'm not going to hit the ball very far. And if I'm going at any speed, probably I'm not going to hit it far enough for me to regain this stroke and get my mallet back in position to hit the ball a second time. Everybody visualize that? Okay? So, if you'll flip through the polo program and you'll see all of the good players where their mallet head starts, and I'm not talking about them dribbling. I'm talking about we're hitting the ball, we're knocking in, we're hitting the ball. All of them, they don't bend at the waist like this, because that restricts me to how high I can get my mallet, how much velocity I can create in the mallet head. They all turn their shoulders. They're upright. See if you can find a picture in there. They are all upright with this shoulder, trying to get this shoulder over the ball. Now, by doing that, look where my mallet head is starting. Okay, it's got to travel from here to the ball. I can create a heck of a lot of velocity with that arc versus from here to there. Does everybody see that? Make sense? Okay, so, and I'm not talking about dribbling, because dribbling we do have a tendency to bend at the waist because we're not attempting to hit the ball that far. Okay, so tomorrow when you're warming up, see what you do. See what your natural, is it like this? And if it is, that is wrong. You need to twist your shoulder. Everything is guided by your left shoulder. If you can get, that's the ball. If I can get my left shoulder over that ball, I can do a lot with this arm, okay? Plus what I'm trying to accomplish is, think of your swing as a grandfather clock. I'm trying to hit the ball straight in this instance, okay? So by me getting this shoulder over the ball, my mallet will start out parallel to my horse. So when I drop it, I'm here. When I drop this hand, I'm going to create, hopefully, a perfect arc parallel to my horse. Everybody see that? Okay. What I see a lot of other players do is they get their shoulder to here. All right. Now, what I want you to visualize, and I'm going to turn my back to you for this purpose, is by doing that, where does my mallet head start? Excuse my back. Okay, I'm going. All I do is turn here. Okay, I've got good rotation in my shoulder. All right, and I've started the mallet there. So if I drop my hand, I am headed on an arc from outside right to my horse's right front leg. Because I've started outside, all right, and I'm just coming down. If I keep that arc, so I have to manipulate somewhere in here the mallet. My mind takes over and say, well, I can't do that, or I'm just going to pop him in the leg. So I get about here and I change this pendulum action. Well, when I've done that, I've lost velocity. So therefore, I don't hit the ball as far. Okay? So in order to correct that, is all I do is direct my left shoulder. Okay, I've turned my left shoulder. Now look where the mallet's starting. See how easy that is? This is an easy game. But you have to know the fundamentals and the basics. So tomorrow, when you're warming up, see where you're bending. Now, I'm not talking about dribbling the ball. I'm talking about I want to hit the ball 40, 50 yards. You all are going to start, I think, with penalty shots tomorrow. It's a good time to notice. Doing it properly, you have to swing a lot less hard than if a lot of people will get their shoulder over, but they'll take their hand and they'll stick it right here. Look where my mallet head is starting. The velocity I can create is from there to the ball. Which would you rather do? Start it here or start it here? Me, I'd rather start it here, because this is going to catch up to my hand. As my hand comes around, this is going to gain velocity. How, I don't know, but it does it. It's going to gain it so that when I come here, I've got a greater arc with the head of my mallet than I do with my hand. Okay? Any questions? All right. Well, again, thank you all. Congratulations on being selected, and enjoy the weekend. Okay? Thank you.